So Korea's been among the poorest performing markets over the last decade. And it's now still, even after this run that we've seen in the first half of the year, one of the cheapest markets in the world. The reason for that has been corporate governance has been poor, with many controlling shareholders incentivized to keep share prices low for inheritance tax reasons. Now, one of the key reasons for that market being cheap has been removed by the government passing a fiduciary duty law, which at the very least is going to stop some of the most egregious practices of controlling shareholders and will remove one of the structural reasons for the discount, the Korea discount, in terms of which Korean stocks trade cheaply. So it's a very, very good start. We're very impressed with what the government has done, and we believe it's just the beginning of this improvement.
Do you think this administration will get this market to give it another meaningful leg up here? Because sure, you mentioned the Commercial Act and so on, but number one, it really boils down to the inheritance tax related measures. Do you think this government will be able to get that done? And number two, what about the idea of this fiduciary duty being expanded, somewhat dampening the entrepreneurship spirit for South Korean business leaders?
Well, that's the argument that they put forward, which of course is nonsense. You've got this fiduciary duty law all over the world. If companies and controlling shareholders and management teams behave appropriately, they should be on the same side as shareholders rather than going against them. Now, the fiduciary duty law is a good law because it's a catch-all. It doesn't have to be specific about the behavior that it's trying to counter. If management or directors do something which is unfair to certain shareholders, that can be challenged. Now, it means that the courts will have to interpret what they see as unfair, but it's a very good law in the sense that it's a catch-all. Now, besides that, the government is talking about other things. They're talking about treasury cancellation. A lot of Korean companies have massive amounts of shares in treasury, which they use to secure control. There's the talk for potential mandatory offer rule where you get tag-along rights, like you do in other countries.
Yeah.
But you're right, inheritance tax is a big deal, and we don't know what's going to happen there. You have a left-wing government. You can understand why they're not necessarily that keen to give the richest people in Korea a break. But there's a Laffer curve to inheritance tax. And if they reduce the inheritance tax, the government might end up taking more tax receipts because the controlling shareholders will be less incentivized to keep their stock prices low by doing things like suppressing dividends.
How did you assess this very long legal saga that J.Y. Lee, the Samsung Electronics boss, had to go through for the last 10 years or so? And we did see the Supreme Court's ruling, so he's done. He's got rid of that legal risk here. What did it mean for the corporate governance perspective point of view in South Korea, and what did it mean for your investment?
Well, people are saying that because Lee has now been freed of this distraction, that he'll be able to go about making Samsung Electronics what it once was before the various missteps, mainly in the area of high bandwidth memory. I don't know if you can necessarily draw that clear a line. Who knows why Samsung made their misstep? Was it at the professional level? Was it at the technical level? Or was it at the senior board of director or management level? But what I do think is now that he is back, I think he will feel the pressure to pay back shareholders, to improve the governance to the extent that he can at Samsung Electronics and within the larger group. But of course, Samsung's problems, I don't think, certainly electronics, their problems aren't as related to governance as they are to their positioning in the markets and I guess the missteps that they've made along the way. The wider Samsung group could well benefit from him being there. particularly because I think he'll be under pressure to show I'm back and I'm doing good, and I'm trying to help the shareholders.